Good evening. Here is the world news from BGI TV, Babagbagede Imo TV. I am Morire Rebila Lawal. First are the major headlines for the world news. Buhari to visit Lagos for two-day project commissioning. Breaking autumn escapes death as convoy involved in accidents. Kano throat ailment kills 25. FG begins probe. Osun Amotekun commander resigns, alleges conspiracy. Kidnap Plateau monarch regains freedom, 2 suspects arrested. Still on the headlines, gunmen abduct primary school pupils in Nasarawa. Also, X-Men butcher family of 6 others, 8 corpses recovered in Benue State. Gunmen kidnap Idiato North LGA chair, 2 others raise country home. Foreign story, Taliban orders beheading of female main queens. And finally on sports, on the 17th AFCON, Ubadi invite 48 players to Golden Eaglet camp. Now the news in detail. President Muhammadu Buhari will visit Lagos State on Monday for 2 days of site visit and commissioning of projects in various locations, the Lagos State government has said. The State Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Benga Motosho, in a statement on Friday, described the president's planned visit as a festival of project commissioning. Although Mr. Governor has hosted the president during some of his visits to Lagos, next week's visit by President Muhammadu Buhari will be one with a difference, the statement reads in part. According to the state government, the project will be commissioned include the Lekki Deep Sea Port, a symbol of a good working relationship between the public and private sectors, and the 32 metric tons per hour Lagos rice mill, one of the largest in the world. Others are an 18.75 kilometer 6-lane rigid pavement Eleko junction to Ekpe Expressway, the John Radul Center for Yoruba Culture and History, the iconic Lagos Blue Line Rail project, and an MRS lubricating factory, a private sector project in Apapa. Moving on to the next story, Governor Samuel Otom of Benue State was on Friday involved in an accident. Politics Nigeria learned that several persons, including 2 members of the Benue State House of Assembly, were injured when Otom's convoy crashed. The accident occurred this morning when the governor and the People's Democratic Party (PDP) supporters were traveling to the Utokun community of Ado Local Government Area (LGA) in continuation of the party governorship campaign rally. The driver of a branded bus fully loaded with the PDP supporters lost control and rammed into 3 vehicles, a jeep, a security vehicle, and another bus in the convoy. Several people, including state lawmakers representing Gùnm and Kwande West in the State Assembly, were injured. The motorcade in the convoy consisted of the state deputy governor, Engineer Benson Abonu, Senator Abba Moro, House of Representative members, and House of Assembly members from Benue South District, among top government and party officials in the states. Moving on to the next story, far northwest. An outbreak of infection in Kano State since last week Friday, as of Thursday claimed not less than 25 lives, information reads. Correspondent learned that the child killer disease, first recorded in the state in late 2022, is being treated as an outbreak at the Murtala Mohammed Specialist Hospital and Aminu Kano Teaching Hospital in Kano. According to medical experts, the infection is a serious infection of the nose and throat, which is easily prevented and preventable by vaccines. The signs and symptoms of the disease, according to experts, may include sore throat, hoarseness, swollen glands, enlarged lymph nodes in the neck, difficulty breathing and rapid breathing, nasal discharge, fever, and tiredness. Information gathered that the disease, believed to be contagious, was first discovered at Ungogo local government area of the states. To the next story from southwest Nigeria. The field commander of Osun Security Network, codenamed Amotekun, Comrade Amitolu Shitu, appointed by former Governor Adegboyega Oyetola, has resigned. Shitu was appointed on April 24, 2021. His letter reads, I, Comrade Amitolu Shitu, hereby tender my resignation as a Field Commander of Osun State Security Network Agency and Amotekun Corps Thursday, Friday, 20th January 2023. As a man of conscience and the eternal grace of Almighty Allah, I give thanks to God for giving me the strength to carry the responsibility of the agency from day to day of one of my appointments as a Pioneer Director General and the first head of Amotekun in Osun State. Let me be on record that I serve my state courageously, impartially, and diligently, despite operational challenges thrown up by the enemy within the top hierarchy of the Corps due to military intrigues. I beg your pardon. With egoism, I never give an excuse, and I know posterity will be kind to our contribution. He applauded Oyetola for appointing him and also commended Osun Speaker and security agencies for contributing to successes he recorded during his service. Going on to the next story, a first-class traditional ruler in Plateau State, Isaac Wakili, who was kidnapped by gunmen in the early hours of Friday, has regained his freedom. Some residents of the Shere community in Jos East local government area of the state where the monarch was abducted said he was rescued on Friday, a few hours after his abduction. One of the residents, Philip Izam, who confirmed the release of the traditional ruler to the Punch in Jos on Friday, added that he had been taken to the hospital for treatment. Izam said, you know, our traditional ruler was kidnapped by gunmen in his palace in the early hours of Friday, but he has just been released. He was released a few hours after his abduction with the help of security men. He is not at his palace at the moment because they took him to the hospital for examination considering what he went through at the hands of his abductors. The police public relations officer in the state, Alabo Alfred, who also confirmed the release of the monarch, said the two suspects have been arrested in connection with the abduction. The PPRO said the monarch has just been rescued and the two kidnapped suspects arrested. An investigation is still in progress while it lasts. Moving on to the next story in Nasarawa. Unknown gunmen in the early hours of Friday reportedly stormed LGEA Primary School, Alwaza, in Alwaza Community, Doma LGA of Nasarawa State, and abducted scores of school pupils in the area. The abductors, who whisked away unspecified number of primary school pupils, reportedly laid siege to the school while the children were reporting to school. The whereabouts of the pupils and the abductors is unknown at the time of filing this report. Moving on to the next story. At least 8 corpses have been recovered after a deadly attack in the Abagana community, Makurdi, the Benue State capital, by armed men suspected to be Fulani herdsmen. The special advisor on security matters to the Benue State Governor, Paul Emba, who confirmed the incident to correspondent, said it was carried out late Thursday when the armed men invaded the community near the internally displaced persons IDP camp in Abagana. According to Paul Emba, security personnel and other villagers have been combing the bushes in the community for more victims who were said to have been shot by the invaders. He said entire members of a family of 6 were all killed in the unfortunate attack. Emba further stated that the attack was unprovoked as the villagers were already set to go to bed when they met their untimely death at the hands of the Fulani bandits. According to security advisor, the casualty figure may likely rise as some other persons who were fatally shot and wounded may not survive the injuries that they got from the shots. Moving on to the next story. The sole administrator of Idiato North Local Government Area of Imo State, Honorable Chris Ohizo, has been kidnapped by unknown gunmen. 2 others who were with him at the time of the attack were also kidnapped in the late hours of Thursday night. It was gathered that Ohizo was shot before the abduction by the assailant, who also burnt his country home at Umoko community of Arondizogo, LGA of the state. According to the source, the sole administrator of Idiato North was kidnapped last night together with 2 others after burning his house at the community. They also shot him on his leg before taking him away. This is a man who came back from hospital recently. I am now devastated. Another source who confirmed the development decried the spate of insecurity going on in the area. His words, the house of Idiato North Solat was burnt down and was kidnapped with bullet wounds on his leg. I've been making this report since last year and early this year. Till now, no single presence of police anywhere in the community and no single arrest. We are now at the mercy of God, says the source. In case you're just joining, you are watching the world news from BGI TV. Next to come is the foreign story. Taliban has ordered clothing shop owners in Kabul to behead or completely cover the faces of female main queens on display. Following their takeover, the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan recently ordered boutique owners to behead or mask the face of main queens on display. According to the Taliban, the main queens violate Islamic law. Several disturbing images of masked and beheaded female main queens from clothing shops in Kabul have now surfaced online. Aziz, a shop owner, told the news agency Associated Press that agents of the Ministry of Vice and Virtue constantly visit shops to ensure that shop owners adhere to the rule and keep female main queens either masked or beheaded. From that story, we'll go to the last story, which is the sports news. Nigeria's Under-17 squad, Golden Eaglet, will begin their preparations for this year's Africa Under-17 Cup of Nations on Monday after the head coach Nduka Ugbade called 48 players to camp in Nigeria's capital. The invitees, which include most of the bunch that won the Wafubi's Under-17 Championship in the Ghanaian city of Cape Coast last summer, have been told to report to Abuja on February 20th, January 2023, today. The Africa Under-17 Cup of Nations has been scheduled for Algeria 8 to 30th April, from which the top 4 place teams will qualify to fly Africa's flag and at the FIFA Under-17 World Cup Finals that will be staged in Peru 10th November to 2nd December this year. Nigeria are 5-time champions of the Under-17 World Cup after triumphs in China in 1985, Japan in 1993, Korea Republic in 2007, United Arab Emirates 2013, and Chile in 2015. That ends the world news from BGI TV this hour. Before we go, some major headlines. Buhari to visit Lagos for 2-day project commissioning. Autumn escaped death as convoy involved in accidents. Kano throat ailment kills 25. FG begins probe. We also brought to you on a shocking note from Amotekun camps in Osun State. Osun Amotekun commander resigns. Alleges conspiracy. Finally on sport. On the 17th AFCON, Ubade invite 48 players to Golden Eaglet camp for preparations. For more updates on YouTube, our handle is Bdùct Imo TV. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell. Select option all to access our broadcast. On Facebook, Bdùct Imo with Alawiye Adebayo. Please like and follow the page. On Instagram, Bdùct Imo _22. For advert placement of your goods and services, coverage of events and functions, please dial the phone number streaming on your screen for advert placements only. Thank you for watching. I am Morire Rebila Lawal. Jumma Confida to all faithful Muslims all around the world. Good evening.
Oh, na, na, na. If you want to know what's going on in city, or you want to listen to the latest news and gist, no stress, oh, just tune to BGI TV. BGI TV, you're one in a million.